Okay. Yalla. So this mimer is I think we should start with that game from what was it 2 days ago, which is relevant to this. There he said, let's see if I can find it right away. He said that Lochem. You remember that I gave you? This is the foundation of this name. Right. That was Fartem, that so called take this the lesaperet alachem. That's what he said. But I can't find it yet. Lesaperet alachem means to take the lochem, and the avoid is we say was Fartem lochem means to here it is. Minot gesagt amol Fartem. No, this is about counting. There's another one about counting. That yesterday, the counting means the beauty of counting the days. That yesterday should be better than that. Today should be better than yesterday. Anyway, the yemim is that the Zvayt means that you take the not count for you, but rather to bring to be misaper, to refine, make sapphire, make shine the lochem. So that means a Jew has midas. And the goal is to make those midas shine and illuminate.
What mean machazat Shabbos?
That's what he's going to explain here. Simple meaning is the fight of Machas Shabbos. You got the Maimer page Lamed Hey. Sheva Shabboses. Count from the day after Shabbos. From the day you bring the Maimer for Sheva Shabboses. Right? This is fight of Muhammad Halacha has a lot to say about it. In fact, one of my Talmidim asked me yesterday, Shaila didn't answer him yet, but he said he went to Australia, he's done in Australia, and he crossed the date line, and he wanted to know, he's doing the Shavuos on a different day, and he wanted to know, can he take a haircut on his Lag Boim? That's a great question.
Meaning he's coming back here for Shavuos?
No, he's learning in Australia, so he came home for Pesach. Going back to Australia for Shavuos. His Shavuos is going to be 1 day later than us. Right? That's what he's doing. So his question is, his Lag Boimer is also 1 day later. So he wants to take a haircut on his Lag Boimer.
Well, if you would take 1 day earlier, it'd be weird. Meaning at this time, Lag Boimer, no? So
his Lag Boimer
is there.
Interesting. Anyway, I don't know the answer. Hine usfartem uloshen behirus k'moy even sapir. Usfartem means this is like sapphire, like a sapphire stone. Bechein, when I say eser spherois uloshen behirus, we talk about the 10 spheres. Talk about the 10 sapphires, the 10 shining, illuminating pieces. So usfartem lochem means to go to your own lochem, to go to you. And make yourself shine. To be able to draw down the 10 spheres, take the spheres, and make Hashem's 10 spheres illuminated right inside you in your life. Yeah? That's the word. Svartem lachem. I have to tell you, today I was learning this sikha, another sikha, and the sikha about the lanternstick that I told you. So I went to learn it inside, and I saw there's so many phenomenal details in it. But the one detail is this nikuda. So for those who don't remember, the point was that the Rebbe Rashab was asked what is a chassid, and he answered that chassid a lamplighter, an lanternstick. So he said to him, the Rebbe is explaining the chassid's questions, and he says the chassid probably didn't know what he was asking. But, the question was there. So he says, what if the lamp is in the midbar, in the desert? He says, you got to go to the desert and go inside. What if the lamp is in the ocean? So he says, you got to take off your clothing and jump into the ocean and go find the lamp and light it up, right? So the Rebbe explains that there's a chassid, if you go find the Jews in the midbar, what's a Jew is in the midbar? A Jew in the desert means a friar Jew. A Jew has no connection to Yiddishkeit, and he's in a total distant place. So you have to have a serious nefesh to go live there, be there, but it's very simple what to do. It's clear. Now, avoid is clear. He says the problem is if you go into the ocean, what's the ocean? So Yam is Torah. Listen to these details. He says in dry land, if you have a mountain, so the mountain will stay a mountain, and the valley will stay a valley. In the ocean, whatever you do, it'll be filled up with water. So the whole thing, if you have a valley or a mountain, is going to be filled with water. The whole thing's going to be water. So when you go to a Frum Yid, he says he has an answer to everything. If you come bring Elokos to a Frum Yid, he doesn't need it. He's not looking for it. Doesn't need you. Why? Because he's got water. Yamatayr is right everywhere. So what's he missing? A fire. He's missing that Kol Omer, and he quotes opposite Rav Nosson, that Kol Omer, he's missing Elokus. This is the Usfartim. He's missing the Elokus. So the problem is, how do you bring it in? When you don't have it yourself. Right? So he says the answer is, it's a powerful thing. If you're writing Shir Hashirim, you're going to know this well. Right? How do you bring Elokus to someone else? First of all, you got to take off your clothing. What's your clothing? You jump to the ocean. Your garments of thought, speech, and action. Which means nothing you're going to explain to the guy is ever going to get through to him. Because it's not going to work. Because he might know better than you. So it's not about the explanation. What is it? It's about the fire. So that the person who has to remove his thought, speech, and action, go into the core fire. What's the core fire? Then the foot of fire is, when you look at a fellow Jew, you look at him with Ahavas Yisrael, you're saying like, I don't care, from fire, whatever, you're a Yid, and I see you as a fire. In other words, I see with absolute Ahavas Yisrael. If I'm looking at you with Ahavat Yisrael, right, at the other Jew, right away, there's this connection built, and what you're going to discover is that the person has a fire, right? In other words, what are we all missing? We're missing a fire in our lives. You ever learn, when you learn Likutei Torah, I don't know if you see it sometimes, that ignites a fire inside you. That's what we're missing. If you're from Yid and you have Torah mitzvahs, you have it all. What you don't have is this send me this I don't know what, it's just starter, right? So he says the avodah is that a lanternstick, a lamplighter, has to have a fire at the end of his lamp. And the fire doesn't belong to you. If you're wondering where do I get the fire from, I don't have the fire. He says, and the problem is if you're doing it in order to be called a Rav or a Chassid, so if I'm doing it with any kind of measure of self, the other person will sense there's no fire there. So the only way to do it is if you refine yourself to the point that you are doing it only to ignite the fire of the other person, then the other person will sense the fire at the end of your stick. And what happened is, he has a fire built in him because he's a Yid. So his fire is going to be ignited. So in other words, if I'm with fire, if I'm on fire, I'm going to be able to light the other person on fire. How do I get on fire? So the answer is, take off your clothing, get out of your thought, speech, and action, get into a state of Mesiras Nefesh, and into a state of Ahavas Yisrael for another Jew, and being able to, right? That's what this mind is about. The word is, Usfartem Lochem, means make the sapphire, the shining fire, make it yours. Make it shine in your life. And when you do, you'll be able to...
That's that rock, right?
What?
The rock?
That's very nice. Yes, it actually is. That's a fascinating point. Even Sapir might maybe be the same idea as Tzor Halamish. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, the Sikh is essentially telling you how to... Right. It's the same thing with a child. When you want to communicate, when you mechanech a child, what do? It's to realize, I don't have anything over you, but there's a fire which both of us need to get. And if I can access the fire, you can access the fire too. Anyway.
Okay, can you explain a little bit Al Derech? Can you explain a little bit Al Derech, the non-from Jew, with this analogy in the desert?
I could say I wasn't focused on that. So, I mean, when he explains it, that non-from Jews in the desert, and when you're going to go, you have to have a serious interest. You're going to the desert. He says, if you go into the desert and you walk inside and look for Yidden, you'll be able to ignite them. I mean, I think it's partial that one. There's no arifas about that one. It means the Mesiras Nefesh to go. The Chassid asked the Rebbe, says, what happens if he's in the desert? So he says, so then go to the desert with Mesiras Nefesh and go be there and go talk to Yidden ignited in the Shaman.
He's in Las Vegas. It's in the desert, right?
Right? Isn't that
I would
straightforward?
have thought that the goal is to bring Mayim into the desert. Mayim of Torah.
Oh. Yeah, he says to light the lamps at night in the desert. Anyway, okay. Ulhovin Zois to understand this process after the parentheses. Line 7. Hine Pesach we Yitzias Mitzrayim. Pesach we escape Mitzrayim. The Chag HaShavua is Matan Torah. The goal is to receive the Torah. To Kedem Kabbalas Torah Tzrichem Nispa Zayin Shavuot Shleimus. It takes 7 weeks of counting to reach there. Ve'achar kach when you cholim the Kabbalah Torah, and then we can receive the Torah. Why is this? What's this process? It says in Yechezkel ve'achayis rotze v'shuv, which literally means that the angels, the chayis, are jumping up and down. But he's explaining chayis rotze v'shuv means the throb of chayut, right? The throb of life, chayot, chayut, is rotze v'shuv, is a throb of life. Shelemala hakol b'tchinas rotze v'shuv. Whatever you see has to be rotze v'shuv. Now, the reason rotze v'shuv is very simple. Hashem is bli gvul. Hashem is unlimited, and we're limited by definition. You won't ever have a connection, right? It's the same as in Shir Hashirim. The whole story is about it's a relation between a chassan and a kala, and they're not blood relatives. If you're a blood relative, you have a mela relationship all the time, whether you like it or you don't. My brother, my sister, right? My brother. I'm shaking with a woman who's not a blood relative. Either you have an insane relationship or you have nothing. You know? The relationship is always going to be a tug. But it's rotze v'shuv, which is why the Rogat Shabbos says that marriage takes place every single second in Kiddushin is chal every moment.
What's the rotze v'shuv?
I want you, I don't want you, I do want you, I do, it's like this up and down. When can Pesach or Bechinas Rod? So Pesach is a yearning for Hashem. Shavuos is coming back to earth. Ki Pesach v'yitziat Mitzrayim shu b'chipos v'knei shkos v'achaltem v'yitziat b'chipos. What's Pesach? Getting out of Mitzrayim, which takes place b'chipazon, right? Which makes no sense. Why did they have to run out of Mitzrayim? Al Rebbe asked in Tanya. He says that's why they're running out. If you're running away from prison and you're fleeing the prison, then you have to run away because they're going to keep you there if you don't run away. But if you've got 10 makkahs happening and Hashem at your side and everything, so what? Just tell them we're going, and you walk out very leisurely, calmly, and you go. Why this the flee, right?
Is the question whether it's chipazon the Mitzrayim, chipazon the Am Yisrael? Right? Who says it's a chipazon the Am Yisrael?
Says Moshe goes about halta meise bechipazon, see bechipazon it's also.
Yeah, but,
says you should eat.
Says,
the reason the dough can't rise is because of the chipazon, and the reason that and you go out in a hurry. So what are you saying?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, there's two tzedodim. There's the chipazon with Mitzrayim, the chipazon. So it could be that we went out calmly. Who says that we went out?
The Torah says bechipazon is also married to Mitzrayim.
Okay,
it's a pasuk.
Yeah, that's okay.
The reason is there was a revelation of godliness from above. So the reason there was a chipazon is because there was a revelation from above. Now, what does that mean? So the pshat is you never worked on it, right? You weren't holding by that. Mitzrayim was a space that Hashem did all the work for us. We were not holding by any stretch of the imagination by that to be ready for it. Of time of Mashiach, it says, you won't go out and you won't go out in a fleeing. It won't be chipazon. But Yitzias Mitzrayim היה b'chipazon. Yitzias Mitzrayim took place b'chipazon. You know, I think if you look at the world today, I mean, I was learning on my computer, I'm learning a Maimon this morning, and Gemini on the side asked me if he wants me to summarize the Maimon. I said, go ahead. Puts a summary in 1 second. Whole summary of the Maimon, piece of different things, whatever. I'm like, Mama's crazy. So if you want to know, you want to write a mafteach or whatever, the guy's written the mafteach 2 seconds, it's right on the side of the thing. In other words, the world we live in today is a godly world. It's Elokus is right in front of you. You don't need to, and I mean, that's just an example of it, AI. But there's so much else that you can see. It's all Elokus ready. It was a revelation, and Hashem did all the work. So because of that, we were not holding by that space. In other words, the human being on his own didn't reach this. And the goal of Mashiach is that I should be holding by that level. The world should be holding on that level. Skip parentheses. The Hainu, what that means is Bechinas Rotzoi Mimata Lemailo. Yetzias Mitzrayim was a yearning of a neshama for Hashem. So the revelation from above, Hashem does Akka after another, Kinim, knocks, crazy things, and then he says, get out. So why do you have to run out? Because you may have got out of Mitzrayim, but Mitzrayim was still inside you. You didn't escape. Kodesh. That's the Rotz of Matan Mayla. Mashiachim b'Shavuos.
What was it? What did you say before?
A Jew in Mitzrayim, did he work on it? Did he get out of what? I'm still a lowlife.
And he got out physically, but not.
Hashem puts all these revelations in above and does whatever and takes you out of Mitzrayim. So that means I'm not out. I'm still right. Imagine you take Yad Le'achim. They take these. They go to these Arab villages. They take out children, Yiddish kids, because you have a Jewish mother married an Arab guy, and they one day when they yank the Yiddish kid out of it. Now he comes out, man. What do you think you have? An Arab kid. That's exactly what you have. Well, you didn't. You have an Arab Jew-hating kid who happens to be a Jew. So you have to train the kid and work on him in order to get him to become a normal person. Okay. It's going to take a lot of work. Just because you got him out of the village doesn't mean he's good. Right? So Mitzrayim, Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. Doesn't mean we changed. We didn't change. Shenkin Shavuos. Shavuot is the first time where Hashem's revealed on him, on planet Earth. Does
that mean revealed?
Hashem gives us the Torah on Shavuos, and he tells, okay, here's me on Earth. Here's how to run your life. So Pesach will get out of Mitzrayim, but we don't know what to do. Then he gives us the Torah and tells, okay, here's how you can live a life of Hashem. So you can live a godly life over here down parallel.
Before they had something. Avram kept all the mitzvahs. No.
When you get to the Mamorim of Matan Torah, we'll discuss it more. But that's the Yisod of Chassidus that they had. The format there, they were taking Hashem, but they never received Hashem from above. So they knew what Hashem wanted, but it wasn't like you couldn't. The world wasn't God. Yeah. So now, so Pesach is Hashem that doing all the work. Shavuos is that we have Hashem revealed here. Ratzo v'shu. See that? Pesach is yearning for Hashem. Shavuos is Hashem coming down and telling you what to do. So you have clarity. Now it says, "Leman tizkor et yom tzedcha mi'eretz Mitzrayim kol yemei chayecha." That you want to remember the day of Yetziat Mitzrayim every single day of your life. What does that mean? So the Hasidic translation he's giving you, it's a wild translation here, which is based on Tanya, but it doesn't mean every generation, look at yourself and remember that the day that you get out. No, every generation and every day, the Alter Rebbe says, you want to get out of Mitzrayim. Not every generation. Every day is a generation. You want to escape Mitzrayim every single day. I wish I knew how to do this, but here's what it means. So the question is asking about the Shema prayer. In Shema, you start the Shema. Shema is 3 different tefillas, part of the Torah, which is put together, made into a Shema. Totally unrelated. So the first and the second, you understand. Shema Yisrael Hashem Hashem Echad V'Ahavto. Okay. And then V'Oyim Shemoyah Hashem, one's Ava, one's Yira. What's tzitzis got to do with it? And then at the end of the tzitzis, I am Hashem, God took out of Mitzrayim. Okay, very nice. Right? You don't think about that?
Now I am.
Huh?
Now I am.
מה הקשר? והיינו בקרישנה ואהבתו, וחותם, אני השם אלוקיך, אשר יצא איתי. So you say, I am Hashem, your God, took you out of Mitzrayim. Especially, min bar shamar ad krishma hu achona sheyava lebchin tzes Mitzrayim ve'ahavta. So he's saying the reason is as follows. Because we're not talking about how we once got out of Mitzrayim. No. We're talking about how we are now going to get out of Mitzrayim. Our goal is, how do I escape Mitzrayim now?
What did you see? 613, the mitzvahs.
That's it. That's it.
To look, to peek, to gaze.
Yeah. So what it means is that I'll explain in Koyach. But what it means is like this, that I start davening. Okay, I got to realize I'm in Mitzrayim. Why am I in Mitzrayim? So if I didn't have a big affairs last night, then it's not a problem to understand. It's easy. But what if I was actually perfect?
We just had a big dinner.
Huh?
We just had a big dinner.
No, I was good. I was in good. I was holy in every single way possible. Right? So then I also want to get out of Mitzrayim. How do you get out of Mitzrayim? By looking and thinking how bli gvul Hashem is. If you reflect on what Hashem is and you look at yourself in that light, the goal is always to look at how I'm nowhere near where I ought to be. Which is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Right? Because if I look at myself and I tap myself on the back and say, guy, what's going to happen? No growth. You want growth? Growth will only come about if you get out of where you are and say, Hashem is bli gvul. Right? So how do you get out of your place? It's a meditation on Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. But you can't just meditate on that, because Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, okay, very good. This man based on Mikshah could do that. Me, I need to do my work before that. Psukkah de Zimra. So Psukkah de Zimra is me reflecting on Hashem. Get out of your little things over here, reflect on what God is, and whatever. Start realizing what Hashem is, bli gvul. And you meditate in that space, right? And once you get there, then when you say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, I got it. That is how you get out of Mitzrayim. That's why it's connected at the end of the parasha. Ani Hashem Elokeichem, which is Shema Yisrael. Now you're no longer in Mitzrayim.
So what are you gazing at?
Yetziat Mitzrayim is Shema. It's not randomly connected. It's because the way to say Shema, the goal of the Shema is to escape Mitzrayim. How do you get out of Mitzrayim? By first identifying, are you in Mitzrayim? Most of us don't, especially from people, by the way. Especially. A fire person doesn't think he's in Mitzrayim until you show him, look. From me, you show me in Mitzrayim, and I'm in Mitzrayim. Daven, I learn, I do my thing, I do tzedakah, chesed, I'm a good guy. Right? So you want to show him, but of course it's bli gvul, and there's a fire of the Eibishter, and you're holding no way. But that's not to get you depressed. That's to get you revved up to do things, to want to connect to Hashem. So that's the Shema every single day. Ani Hashem Elokeichem. Amen. What's amazing about that is the word Asher. Remember? What's Asher? Ani Hashem Elokeichem. You get it? There's bli gvul. How happy can you be by that?
What's the Almata Matzitz? What?
Matzitza Elokut. Tell Bnei Israel they should make, just listen to this, Michal. Yeah. Tell Bnei Israel they should make tzitzit. What's a tzitzit? To gaze at Hashem. Right? When you look at this idea of tzitzit, what does that mean?
Made male.
You'll make all the mitzvahs of Hashem into a male. In other words, you'll start realizing the most important thing is mitzvahs. Right? You'll make the mitzvahs real. Come holy. You get it? Asher, get excited over that. It says yes, and the same, no longer mitzvah.
Different.
But that's the Shema. You know what the biggest mitzvah is? You don't know this. That's the biggest mitzvah because you don't even know you're a mitzvah. That's what the lantanshtik is. It means to go up and light a Jew and go tell him, listen, you didn't understand the fire. Let me show you what it is about fire. And then he goes on fire, you go on fire, and together we light up the world. Okay. Ubifrat. The whole story of Baruch She'amar, I bring down Hashem. She'amar v'haya olam. I'm working. What am I doing? I want to get to a point where I can say, ve'ahavta. When you get there, when you meditate, we're learning how to daven here. This is such a simple explanation of tefillah. Right? How do you daven? All the heavenly hosts, what are they doing? They're bowing down to Hashem. The chayot are enamored by the chila kisei, and some of the angels around him. Now, I have to tell you, I don't know what this means. Right? Meaning, it's all over in Chassidus. I'm sure there's an explanation. I don't know what it is. But I don't know about you. I don't get excited by angels. Right? For a simple reason. I have no frame. I don't know what they are.
It's confusing because you're not supposed to imagine Hashem as anything, but then he's saying that he's here, and there's this, and there's that.
That's something else. That's all Mashalik. I'm saying that
more of like we're so small, we don't even realize that.
I think what it is to me, it's first of all, if you look at the world, right? If you gaze at the world, you'll see this is a simple thing that all the planets are moving to the west, right? So I think this one you could imagine. Why are they all going west? Why does the sun rise in the east and set in the west? There's no scientific answer for it. Azoi, and you're going to figure out what. But why? And why is everything going to the west? Right? So what you see is the answer is Shkin Teva Shkin is in the west. But saying the depth of it is, look, the planets, they're all just. That's like Avraham Avinu, just stare at them. It's crazy. There's something making it happen, right? There's some force behind that. Now go look at the world and stare at something unbelievable. I got a call from a lady the other day. She had a baby, and she's the sole provider in the house. Her husband's totally incapable. So she's crying and crying on the phone. It was very intense. Why is she crying? So she just gave a baby. She's very emotional. I'm emotional because I'm going to go back to work in a couple of weeks. And my husband's going to stay home and look after my baby. And I'm a mommy, and he's not. I'm like, what? She's crying about it. So she's like, then she says to me I don't know. I have no bitachon. I don't know what to do with it. I can't. How do I find some bitachon in my life? Right? So I said, but let's talk when you're less emotional. But she said, no, I need an answer now. So I said, okay. You have a baby next to you, right? Oh, go look at the baby in the face. Tell me, do you know how to make babies? He came out 2 eyes, nose, ears, mouth. Perfection of a baby. Do you know how to make a baby? He says, no, it's my baby. It's your baby. It is. But you have no idea how to make a baby. The same Eibishter who made your baby come out like that, and it's insane. Just stare at the baby and you'll see Elokus. And then reflect that Hashem is Zonum Mefanas B'chol. It can give everyone life and make everyone sustain everyone. He'll sustain you too. Right? It's at bitachon stems from watching things in the world. That's the avodah psuke zimra. Every day. You look at the baby, look at this, look at life. Right? Every single day. That's what you want to look at. Because then you start seeing Hashem. So every day, I think that's what it means to look at the malachim. The malachim are the forces behind the things that are going around the world. The malach is all the things that happen out there, those are the malachim. And you see them. You see the fact that the planets are going in one direction. You see the fact that there's a cycle of life and the chain, and it's insane to watch. Right? And if you start looking at that, you're bringing yourself to a position of Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. No thoughts? What do you say?
that was a beautiful response to her. Really, it's such a that's a great thing to way to just think about everything every day, just like that. Yeah, really, it's amazing.
What if her baby was deformed?
That's a higher level. Yeah.
Now keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, no, but that's
I'm asking today a shayla for I'm asking the shayla for a lady. She has a baby of 17 weeks, and he's Edwards syndrome.
What?
Edwards syndrome.
What's that?
The bottom line is he either won't live, or will die at childbirth, or will definitely die for the first year. A horrific death.
I mean, he wasn't yet born. You're saying they were able to tell that he had that in the womb. Uh-huh.
So I told her today to abort this morning.
Wow.
Far along? How far along?
17 weeks. That's the once you do that to do it. So, I mean, I don't like it, but is that not a locus? I think it is also.
Yeah.
You know, I think you see God there too. And in other words, when you see a baby and you realize that shows you a locus.
That what?
Say that shows you a locus. The fact that can happen, that makes sense that happens.
Why does that make sense?
How does everyone come out normal?
I say there's a chance that
Everyone does.
I'm saying there are risks. There's people, you get pregnant, you have a baby, it's all good.
But that's God's decision. That's how it works.
Correct. I'm just looking at one thing. My job in the morning when I wake up is not to do anything other than notice Hashem. What do I mean? I'm noticing. Moida means I acknowledge. I acknowledge that there's God. That's it. I'm not making a statement whether I like it or don't like it. I'm just acknowledging it, of course, and I'm watching through the day and through everything that goes on. I'm seeing Hashem. It's my way. Right? Then I get to the Shema Yisrael. So, Al Kaponim, that's what he says.
Just saying that everything lines up with Hashem. There's double check and cows when they eat. They studied cows. They always line up in a certain direct matter, weather.
What do you like?
Huh?
Camels eat, yeah.
When they graze, they always position themselves in a certain direction.
Yep.
Not sure if it's related, but I think in fact.
The guy told me yesterday, he was collecting a money, and he told me that a bar to the Rav Shitzer, that was yesterday. He says, why is it that Iyar is Ani Hashem Rofecha? The reason is because in Iyar is the beginning of the growth of the summer, right? The spring. So the herbs are growing. And since every herb is a mazel, every single thing has a mazel, an angel which is behind it. Therefore, right now it's the month where Refuah is created. Anyway, this is what it means. Leodia to make known to man. So the simple meaning is to make known to man his might and the glory of the honor of his kingdom. Right? But the Alter Rebbe translates it differently. Not to make known to man his Guroisav, but that Hashem becomes known to human beings. That's crazy. That's Guroisav. Yeah. That is the goal.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
It means, what on earth do I have as a Nivra? How do I, as a Nivra, have any kind of relationship with the infinite? That Hashem becomes known to man is it's an incredible.
Kaddish Baruch Hu being with Samson himself.
Yeah, that's Gura.
Not as good.
Limitation. Yeah.
What's that? That he's being with Samson.
It changes your davening also. That see that? To become known to Bnei Adam, that is his Gvurotav. That is his limitations. That's because he wants the glory of Hashem's kingdom. What's he doing? He's getting us, little Nivraim, to sit and learn some Likutei Tekton and understand Hashem, and thereby be mamlichim as melech when we daven. And that's what he wants. That's his glory. Everything's bottled to Hashem. How do you get this bitul? When they grasp. The next person. You want to realize, you know what controls everything in the world? Malchut kol olamim. Malchut kol olamim. I notice that it's not me in control, it's Hashem in control. I don't know where I'm making the parnasa from, but I watch the baby and I say, wow, Hashem must be in control. The chayut of all the world is from Malchuscha. What does that mean, Malchuscha? Malchuscha is arat shemo bilvad, just a ray of light of Hashem. It's not like the soul animating the body. When the soul animates the body, what happens? The etzem chayis and neshama is enclosed in the guf mamash. Right? What happens is the soul is in the body and it's enmeshed in the body. The soul and body are one.
What's the difference?
But Hashem, just like a soul is enclosed in the body and the body and the soul become one. Right? The soul is everywhere in the body. And the body's alive, literally. Yeah? So too, mamish, Hashem is everywhere in the world. The difference being that the soul is influenced by the body and hurt and heat, cold, whatever, by the body. Mashenk and Hashem has zero influence by the world. Right?
I'm not sure the point you bring up.
He's saying Elokus is everywhere. Everything you see is godly. The fact when $1 falls into your pocket, look at it and stare at Elokus.
Okay.
You just saw God. When $1 falls out of your pocket also.
Right.
Right? When anything happens, you're staring at Elokus.
What does that have to do with
Hashem is not being influenced by it.
as opposed to the neshama that is influenced by it?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
That's not understanding.
The neshama, when the body's in pain, the neshama's in pain.
But I thought the neshama is chelik l'kaim mamish.
But it still gets into pain. You never felt pain. Pain is something you feel when whatever if I pinch you, if I want to call you, if I pinch a person, what happens? He awakens. That's his soul.
You're telling me, and it gets back to my conversation yesterday. You're telling me that there's a difference between the mahus and the neshama and the mahus of Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
Mahus of what?
The neshama is opposed to Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Of course. So what does it mean that it's chelik? So it's a chelik, but it's a different chelik.
No, one second. That's a different conversation. The neshama in the body, the neshama is enmeshed in the body.
Yeah.
The neshama and guf are one. So what happens in the guf influences and affects the soul.
And what's the soul?
Hashem is in the world. And when Hashem is in the world, even though he's involved in every detail of the world, he doesn't get affected by the world. That's what he's saying.
So you're making a difference between the neshama and Hashem. You're contrasting the two.
Between the neshama and the guf and Hashem in the world.
But Hashem in the world is not affected. So the means the neshama and Hashem are not the same thing.
I got it, but that's a different conversation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Nothing can implode Hashem. He's past, present, future, all in one. Here's your apostle.
Yeah.
I, Hashem, don't change. Hashem is before the world, Hashem is after the world. It's all one and the same. There is no difference. Nothing at all ever blocks Hashem. So, why it's an amazing revelation, this one, right? Why is there a world? So you say like this: I, Hashem, don't change. Hashem is everywhere. Everything is Hashem. No shini whatsoever. So what am I seeing in the world? I'm seeing Baruch bringing down Shem Kvod Malchuto. What's Shem Kvod Malchuto? You see why? Do you see Hashem? I don't see Hashem right now. You know why you don't see Hashem? Malchutcha, Malchut Kol Olamim. Because Hashem wants, you should crown him as king. If
That's
he would show himself to you.
him coming down, but like he says, but as he continues, but it's not his Musa Vatsusa.
Yep. So if he would show himself to you, then there wouldn't be work for you to be Mamlechim as Melech. So what's your work? To see that what's behind the scenes is the truth, not what's external. And that's what it means. To become known to man is Gvurotav, is his limitation. For what reason? It's to show the glory of his kingship. Malchutcha, Malchut Kol Olamim. What rules over the world, what controls the world every single second, this is what it means. Malchutcha, Malchut Kol Olamim, the same as saying it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. For what reason? To be Mamlech Hashem as Melech. So every time there's a problem in life and you're wondering where's your money coming from, or where's my happiness coming from, whatever the answer is, through letting go and bringing Hashem into the picture. Every time. That's what it means. Malchuscha, Malchus Kol Olam. Now you reflect on that Hashem is Atau Kodem Sheni Matav. Hashem is everywhere all the time. Hashem wants to be a melech. V'zeu Malchutcha, Malchut Kol Olamim. Shekol Olamim Afshin Elef Alaf Merim Rabban. The myriads of world. Hayesh Mispa Legudim and others again. All the everything you see that Im Kol Zeim Ein Arei Klal Legabi. They are completely unlimited compared to Hashem's light. Hashem is unlimited. If I know the next page, yeah, 1 to 10,000 times 10,000, 10 billion. It's one stickle. Right? 1 to a trillion is still 1. But trillion, unlimited. See that? If I have 1 and you have a trillion,
Yeah.
you have a trillion times more than I do. But if I have a trillion and you have unlimited, there's no comparison. Follow? That's totally Ein Sof. So now, what's my job? My job is to take this information and not just keep it information level, but rather internalize and understand it. Through grasping all this, so the Malachim, what are they doing? They're thinking about Hashem. Thinking about Hashem is blikul. Hashem is everything. Then they're noticing Hashem. What's the avodah that you got here in this world? The avodah is to meditate, take this concept and think about it. Think about how, okay, so I'm struggling. I have no parnasa. And then I want to work in myself to feel that Hashem is taking care of me. So the avodah is, it's a deep, deep avodah to have bitachon in Hashem. To work and find Hashem, and it's going to be real. It's going to be different to every single person. It's going to be hard. And the whole reason is so you can meditate. How do you do it? You don't just have bitachon by you can't just learn, the bitachon. You got to learn daven. You got to learn Hashem is bli gvul. You got to reflect on that. You got to find Hashem is taking care of everything. The whole reason there's kehelim so Hashem can be king. In that context, you understand what bitachon is. Bitachon is where you find Hashem in your space. Bitachon is called malchus chamalchus gedolam. Mamlech Hashem is melech. If you meditate on this deeply, as I this is the avodah of davening. You need to go, wow, there's Hashem taking care of me. You start Krishma at the beginning of davening. You're reflecting, look at the Zimra, and then you go in Malachim, Pirkot, Kriyat Shema, until you get to Hashem Echad, Ve'ahavta Awan Hashem. And that's what he says in Tanya, that Eliezer ben Dodaya did it like that. Don't try that. You have to go the process. Get me out of this limitation. I'm seeing things in a limited way. The world might be right 500-year walk from heaven to earth. Okay, but it's still there. It's making the world seem like a total yesh on its own. And all I want is rak ledov koboy shehu bli gvul b'chinas ein seif mamish. So this is all about revving up the dveikus. How do you rev up the dveikus? A yid starts and he says, "Okay, what's your problem today? What's your issue? I'm feeling kach v'kach v'kach." Okay, great. Now you know why you're feeling that? Because Helem, Hashem wants to be a melech, and Hashem wants to bring this into it. Okay, so you start meditating on Hashem and reflect on Hashem, and boom, 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 until you get to the point where you say, "Wow, Hashem is controlling everything." Right, and every day different. Ve'ohavta one Hashem, I'm out of my Meitzarim. This is the yearning, the Ratzoi, which then allows the Shuv in Shemon Esrei. That's why Shema ends off, Ani Hashem Elekechem. You got that? You're no longer in Mitzrayim, Asher. I'm excited. It says it's the same thing. It's not two random parashas being attached together. וזה נקרא יציאת מצרים, לצאת מן המצרים וגבולים כנ"ל. וזהו שבגולת מצרים נאמר בפרעה לא ידעתי הוויה. Pari says, I don't know הוויה. ששם הוויה שהוא היה עובר ויהיה בלי שינוי לא ידעתי. I don't know Yud Kei Vav Kei. Does Pari not believe in God? He actually does believe in God. אז השם אלוקים המכסה ומסתיר לי, יש לו בפנס דווקא. See, if Pari didn't believe in God, I wouldn't relate to him. But Pari is the king of who we are. Why? Why is he the king? Because Pari tells you that Hashem that nature is in control.
Right.
Nothing ever changes. And the truth is, it says Elokim Yanei Shlom Paro, right? Elokim is nature. Hashem in control of nature. And Pari accepts that. What he doesn't want to accept is that Havaya, which is above nature, is in control of you. Why is lo yadaiti shadas to the b'chinas golus? Pari really wanted to know Hashem, but what happened? His das is in golus because he didn't daven. If you work this way up and you chap ani havaya lekechem, reflect on Hashem, get to Hashem. That's how you get the das. When you get the das, you can say Hashem, I'm connected. That's how you get out of the sun.
How's the
That's part
connection
of
to Spartan Torah? Shabbos?
This is the process of davening, which we do every day, is going to be identical to the process of Mitzias Mitzrayim and then Shavuos. Mitzias Mitzrayim, Tfilas Ha'emet, Shavuos. It's the same process as davening every day. We're going to share this.
Very nice. Beautiful.
Shkoyach.
Thank you.
Yom Tov
Rabbi,
Likudon. Yeah.
Maybe can we go back a minute to what was discussed yesterday about how we all grew up with the trauma of the German, right? We all grew up on the lap of our grandparents, the chule. What does that mean for my children who are now one generation and more removed, and they don't really remember grandparents who were in the lager? What trauma do they deal with in a pre-COVID world?
Firstly, the trauma of the German is just a technicality. I mean, the point is, the trauma is tzimtzum. Right? The original trauma is the tzimtzum. Like he says in Tanya, I was just learning it this morning. That's the one I sent out this morning, 5 days ago. He says that there's if you look at this, you look at your neshama in this world. And in the neshama, the fact that it's in your body, that's already a trauma. That's a wound. Compound that by the fact that I have thought, speech, and action, which I shouldn't have had. Right? So I don't know if you have to focus on the German element. I think the German is going to be affecting your kids too, by the way. I do think so. But that's not the point. The point is, Olam Haza is the problem. Right? The whole world. The existence of Gashmis. And that's what we just learned, how to get out of it.
Okay, stress.
Yom Tov.